Welcome to the Coach Juan P podcast, where I tell you how to get better at hoops in 5 minutes or less. Today, I'm going over, do plyometrics really work? The question of the day, people talk about plyos, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. People talk about doing weights instead, but the question of the day is, does it really work? In this article by Futuros and colleagues, there was a huge disparity between groups that did training. In the combined group, there was a 15% gain seen in vertical jump, whereas the resistance training group only saw an 11% gain, and the plyometric group only saw a 9% gain. So it's clear that you're going to need to do some sort of both, but it depends on where you are developmentally. If you haven't reached your growth spurt yet, sprints and jumps are going to be the biggest thing for you. If you have reached your growth spurt yet, there's going to be a period of where learning to do weights is going to be helpful, but then combining both of those is going to be huge. Long term, we know that those coupled together are a powerful, powerful tool for performance. We should also jump into what are plyometrics. Plyometrics were made famous by Verkhoshansky, and initially it meant shock training. What we know today as plyos was not the same thing as plyos were before. And shock training was typically jumping off a super high box, doing a rebound, boom, into successive jumps. What we know as plyometrics today are typically any sort of jumping or rebounding action, whether it's on double, single leg, or from one leg to the other. So plyometric training is very, very different than it was before. But as we know, sports are very plyometric. If we think about hoops, basketball, even sprinting can be seen as a plyometric action. Rebounding, plyometric action, all that stuff, blocking a shot, shooting a jump shot. It's all a plyometric action, which is going to have a stretch shortening cycle component. And in that stretch shortening cycle component, there's a loading, think about stretching a rubber band, and then there's a concomitant explosion, right? So think about letting go of that rubber band. Boom, same thing with the jump. You're loading a muscle, boom, there's tension, boom, you're exploding. It's all about the storage and the release of stored energy. It's a very efficient way to move, and it also saves energy. So people that are more elastic are very much more efficient at jumping than people that are muscular driven. Now with plyometrics, these are also can help us protect us from injury. For example, in a study done by, or in a review done by Adam Petway, he looked at 27 NBA player injuries of Achilles tendon tear. And in all 27 of those, the mechanism of injury was the same. It was a false step backwards to change angles. And these are very high level athletes with the access to the best training, nutrition, everything. And all of these 27 injuries, it was all the same mechanism, and it all resulted in Achilles tendon tear. When we do plyos, we load the tendons at very specific angles, and then we combine that with strength training, we can help resist some of those injuries. And so plyometrics are not only a performance enhancer, but they're also an injury preventer. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. Otherwise, I'll see you for the next segment of the Coach Juan P podcast. Till next time.